Yo, what's good? What's good? What's good? The wait is over. The contract extension is signed. Shout out to my guy Robert Penna being the first one in the building. We have our quarterback until 2027 if he lasts that long. Um, the wait is over, right? We can start pointing the directions of where we're going in the draft. Is it going to be a quarterback? Is it going to be Ashton Genty? Is it going to be trade back, which seems to be the scenario at this point right now? Um, but man, Geno Smith on the books, $85 million, 66.5 guaranteed. That's a lot of money for you know, for a quarterback with no playoff wins. But I guess that's the day and age. You see Jordan Love, make it to the playoffs, get a bag. The the quarterback over there in Jacksonville getting a bag. Can't Trevor Lawrence, so that seems to be the trend. Hopefully, it's not a Jimmy Garoppolo, Gardner Minshew signing, and the man could step it up. We could take pressure off his shoulders, and he doesn't turn the ball over because the yardage is there, the plays are there. The plays with his legs are decent. 262 yards rushing last year, not a bad number, but not great stats. It's not blowing anybody out of the water, right? Especially when you turn the ball over as many times as Geno did. 21 turnovers last year is unacceptable for any quarterback, especially if you're making $40 million a season, right? That's just unheard of. But it's the NFL, man. It's the day and age, is how it rolls. So I'm not mad at it. I hope and pray, that we go get a running back in the draft. Whether it's at 6, whether second round, we go get somebody to take the pressure off of Geno. I think Mostert can do that to an extent, right? To an extent, we don't know if he's going to be that guy he was 2 years ago, 1,000 yards, 21 touchdowns. So we need another running back. We have to take the pressure out of Geno. I still think we need another big time receiver, a big guy like 6'3", 200 pounds, DK Metcalf type dude that can stretch the field, run the 4.3, 4.4 40s. And I think we're in business if Geno can just make better decisions because, look, let's be honest. I'm tired of everybody making excuses for Geno Smith saying, well, he didn't have a run game. He didn't have an offensive line. He had DK Metcalf, bro. He had Smith and Jabwe, however you say dude's name. He had Tyler Lockett. Yeah, he didn't have the greatest offensive line. They were hurt. They were beat up. But, dude, come on, man. Stop saying this dude is going to be the savior. Like, 21 touchdowns with 21 turnovers is not a winning recipe for any organization, especially with no run game and questions on the offensive line, questions on the defense. Is our defense going to be top 10? Then you could probably get away with your quarterback, turning the ball over 21 times, but you're not making it to the playoffs with that. So Geno's going to have to work on, and I don't see any quarterback changing this dude at 34 years old, you know, changing the style of play or the way he sees the field. Like, you're not going to change that at this day and age. So do we have a good enough defense, to have a quarterback turn the ball over 20 plus times with only 21 turnovers? I don't think we do at this point. So hopefully in the draft, I believe with Pete Carroll in the house, he's going to get the best out of Geno. Now, that's still turnovers. I mean, you look at Geno's best season, 33 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, bro. That's a lot. And he had six or four fumbles, I think. Anyways, he's a turnover machine, and you can't fix that when you're 34 years old. Like, you can give him weapons, you can take the pressure off his shoulders. You can give him a run game. Shout out Raider Menace, appreciate you pulling up. But I mean, I don't know. You do have Brock Bowers. You do have Jacoby, who had 0 drops last year, 1,000 yards. So he has weapons. We know he can make plays with his legs. But then when you throw in 6 fumbles to, the 50-something rushes, what he had, 50 attempts, 264 yards with 50 sacks. Is that correct? Hold on. Wait a minute. Did he really have that many sacks last year? Time out. Holy shit. Yeah, so, bro, I know his offensive line wasn't good, didn't have a run game, but, bro, nobody gives Aiden O'Connell that slack, right? Nobody give Aiden O'Connell the slack that he had 2 head coaches, 4 offensive coordinators, but we're quick to be like, oh, Geno's going to be that guy. And, you know, don't talk about it, be about it. He's going to have to show me. I'm not going to jump on that bandwagon. But I do believe he gives us an element we haven't had in a long time, which is definitely being able to make plays, you know, in the red zone with your legs or pick up a first down here and there if he doesn't fumble the ball. If he doesn't fumble the ball. If we are going to suck, I'd rather suck with AOC. That way we know it's not him, just my opinion. I mean, it made all the sense in the world. Again, they see something in Geno that maybe some of us don't. Like, to me, I'd rather have an up-and-coming kid making less than $2 million and you could spend that money elsewhere. You know, we could have went and got a lot of these free agents, but they have a plan, and until it doesn't work, I'm going to roll with it, right? That's all I could do. But, man, I hear you 1,000%. It just made more sense, you know, to not pay that money, especially if you're going to go draft a guy in the 2nd or 3rd round or 6th overall. It just made more sense to me. But I'm not the boss in charge. But let's look over Geno's stats, you know. Let's check it out. So PFF, which I don't know how they grade shit, right? Because wild, just wild, right? So Geno to the Smith, the savior for the Raiders, which I hope he is, man. I pray to God. Like, I'm not hating on the dude. I'm just saying. So 21 touchdowns, was 13th out of 75 quarterbacks in the NFL. His 4,320 yards was 4th. His 82.5 grade was 13th out of 75 quarterbacks. But then you have to throw in 15 interceptions, which was 73rd out of, yep, that's right, 75. 73rd out of 75. Making $38 million a year. They'll pay anybody, bro. I'm telling you. Like, that's crazy numbers. And you can't make excuses saying he didn't have weapons to throw to. He's a mobile quarterback that makes plays with his legs, right? He makes plays with his feet. So his job as a dual threat quarterback is to make plays when the pocket collapses. You know what Geno did when the pocket collapsed most of the time? He took a sack. He took a sack, bro. And it wasn't like a 5-yard sack. It was like 10-yard, 15-yard sack. He took a lot of deep sacks. Pause if necessary. So his pass snaps was 3rd in the NFL at 704. That's why you have 4,000 yards. I'm just saying. I'm not critiquing. I'm just throwing out facts. His dropbacks, 5th in the NFL, 652. So that means he took a hell of a lot of snaps under center, right? Attempts was 4th in the NFL with 578. Passing yards was 4th. Touchdowns was 13th. We got all that. Average time to throw, 2.82 yards. That's horrible. That's a bad offensive line, bro. That's a bad offensive line. I'll give him that. But when you're an athletic quarterback, you should be able to throw on the run, right? You should be able to step up into the pocket and make those throws, because pocket passers step up into the pocket with bad offensive lines. And, you know, let's be honest, The Bills didn't have the greatest offensive line. The Bengals don't have the greatest offensive line. Um, shit, even the Cowboys didn't have the greatest offensive line for once this year. But when you're supposed to be a mobile quarterback, you got to make those plays. Pressure to sack rate, 34th in the NFL, 19.9%. Pressure to sack rate, 34th in NFL. That's bad, bro. Here's a good stat, right? Big time throws, 6th in the NFL with 28. We know he's accurate. We know he can throw the long ball. You also have, DK Metcalf, which is a big plus to have on your side. Scramble yards, 14th in the NFL with 562. 256. I can't read. With two rushing touchdowns with 6 fumbles. I'm gonna give up those 2 rushing touchdowns for a dude that's gonna stand in the pocket and not fumble the ball, get the ball out quick, accurate. Whether it's 2 yards, 5 yards, I don't care. But I'd much rather have a dude that's not gonna be, run around and fumble the ball. That's gonna stand in the pocket, whether whoever it is. Rushing. So he was 18th in the NFL rushing snaps, 367 rushing snaps with 256 yards. Designed run plays, 53. So out of 53 design run plays, plus his scrambling, he had 256 yards. 61st in scrambles with 24. Out of 75 quarterbacks, he was 61st in scrambles. This is a guy that's supposed to make plays with his legs and help us, pick up those third downs, not fumble the ball, not take sacks. A lot of those run plays turned into negative yards. I'm just saying. But then when you go to stats per game, let's break down per game. Just to put everything into perspective, right? See what we're getting for $38 million a season, 66 guaranteed. Just stacking money away. So against Denver, his first game in the NFL this year, he was 18 for 25, 171 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He ran the ball 4 times for 30 yards with 1 touchdown. 7.5 average. Doesn't show fumbles, so we don't know if he fumbled or not. The second game, 44 for 33 against the New England Patriots. He had 1 touchdown, was sacked 3 times. Ran the ball 5 times for 8 yards. Against the Patriots, one of the worst teams in the NFL. The Miami Dolphins, he was 26 for 34 for 289 yards, 8.5 average, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, sacked 3 times. Ran the ball twice for -2 yards. The Detroit Lions, he threw the ball 56 times. Jesus criminy, bro. So I appreciate it. So he threw the ball in Detroit 56 times, completed 38, 67.9, 7.1 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, sacked 3 times, ran the ball 5 times for 38 yards. Against the Giants, another worst team in the NFL, he threw the ball 40 times for only 284 yards. I mean, damn, that's not great, but it's not bad, right? So 40 times, he had 28 completions, 70% completion ratio. 7.1 yards average, sacked 7 times against the New York Giants. The New York Giants, bro. He was sacked 7 times. And this is the 4th game of the season. He only had 1 offensive lineman hurt then. He had his starting 5 offensive linemen in that game, sacked 7 times. Against San Francisco, he threw the ball 52 times, 30 completions, 57.7 completion ratio, 6 yards per attempt, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, sacked once, ran the ball once for 0 yards. Against the Atlanta Falcons, 28 attempts, 18 completions, 64% completion ratio, 207 yards, 7 in attempt, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, sacked once, ran the ball 4 times, 15 yards. Buffalo Bills, 21 for 29, 212 yards, 7.3 an attempt, 72% completion ratio, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception, 1 sack, ran the ball 5 times for 16 yards, 3.2 an average, which I think he fumbled in that game twice, but I don't know why it's showing. I'll try to find another stat where it shows. Against the LA Rams, they lost that game, went into overtime. He was 34 for 21, 363 yards, 61.8 completion ratio, 10 yards an attempt, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, sacked 7 times. That's 2 games. The dude was sacked 7 times. Aiden O'Connell was sacked 1 time in his career, 7 times. That was his first game ever with Khalil Mack being unblocked. I'm just saying, bro. Pocket awareness is key in the NFL. Where was that? Fuck, it's cold out here, bro. San Francisco game, 32 for 25, 221 yards, bro. Damn. 6.9 an attempt, 78% completion ratio, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception, sacked 4 times, ran the ball 4 times for 29 yards. Arizona, 31 for 22, 254 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, sacked 5 times. The New York Jets, he threw the ball 31 times for only 200 yards against the New York Jets. 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions, sacked 3 times, ran the ball twice for 2 yards. So what mobility are we getting here, bro? what mobility are we getting here? I pray it works, bro. I'm gonna have to say my prayers tonight. Definitely have to say them tonight. So against Arizona, the next game, he was 30 for 24, 233 yards, 80% completion ratio. Damn good. 7.8 yards an attempt, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions, sacked 3 times, ran the ball twice for 2 yards. So a lot of these games, bro, he was standing in the pocket with this offensive line that's not supposed to be that good. Against the Green Bay Packers, he was 19 for 15 for 149 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception, ran the ball once for 5 yards, no touchdowns. So he only had 2 rushing touchdowns all year. Like I said, 2 rushing touchdowns with 6 fumbles, man. I just don't see how they're justifying this shit. Against the Vikings, 43 for 31, 314 yards, 72% completion ratio, 7.3, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, sacked twice, ran the ball once for 8 yards. Chicago Bears, 23 for 17, 160 yards. Not a very good game. The Bears didn't have the greatest defense either. 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, sacked 3 times, ran the ball 3 for 19. Last game of the season, 20 for 27, 223 yards, 74% completion ratio. So as you can see, they say he had the highest completion, the second highest completion ratio in the NFL this year. But I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games where he threw the ball less than 30 times, and those were his highest completion ratios. When he threw the ball 34 times, he had a 61. When he threw the ball 40 times or 56 times, he had a 67.9. I guess that's not bad. Against Miami, 34, 70.6. So we know he's accurate. It's just the decision making, and that's the only thing I'm worried about. If he can control that, if we can get Greg Olsen to not put so much pressure on him, where we're a run first team. That's why Ashton Jeanty, I believe, is key to making this season work, man. You put a workhorse like Ashton Jeanty in there, and it don't even have to be him. There's plenty of running backs in this draft that you can get second or third round. Quinshawn Judkins. You can get guys in the fifth round. Raheem Sanders, former Razorback. That's a workhorse. The dude carried the ball 30-something times, I think, a game in Arkansas for like 2 years in a row. There's guys you can get to take the pressure out of Geno. But I think we need guards, If you look at the stats that I just showed right there, he wasn't really running for his life a lot. There's not too many rushing yards. Those rushing yards and attempts, I don't, if they're design runs, that's fine. Maybe they're not showing the scramble yards on there. Yeah, that's just design runs. So they said he had 53 design runs. So out of those 53 design runs, they weren't great, but I don't know what he had scrambling wise, but we know he only had 256 yards, but he also lost a lot of yards. 50 sacks is absolutely crazy. We cannot have that. There is no way we are going to beat Denver. There's no way we're going to compete with the Chargers, or even play Kansas City like we have in the past, the last 2 years. Not with that amount of turnovers. Our biggest problem last year was Gardner Minshew turning the ball over. The dude had 9 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, with another 9 fumbles or something wild, crazy, 6 fumbles. I don't know. Yeah, 6 fumbles, 16 turnovers was a big reason why we got, blown out in the second half of every single game when he was in there. Now, when Aiden was in there, he still turned the ball over. He had 8 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, not a great number. But I believe one of those, came in as a backup. I think 2 of those interceptions came in as backups, but it's near, it's here nor there. So yeah, he got to clean it up, bro. You got to make better decisions, and I just don't know at 34 years old, how much you're gonna clean up. Maybe hot titty take. Maybe they put that virtual headset on, that JD5, and I told everybody about a year and a half ago, JD5 is going to kill it in the NFL because of this virtual damn headset that he's got on. They put the game in 1.5 speed and they speed it up. So it's like an NFL game. You got virtual, they're running straight NFL defenses. They have it programmed where it's NFL defense for every single team he plays. So he goes in every single morning at 4:30 and runs a full game for an hour and a half with a virtual headset on. And it speeds up his clock. It speeds up his internal clock. Yeah, AOC could use that too. Every team in the NFL should be using it. I don't know if looking at JD5 and what he did last year, you could say it was the coaches, but I attribute probably 90% of, his accuracy, his timing in the pocket, because let's be honest, his clock in college was not what it was supposed to be. And he was the highest rated quarterback under pressure He had the highest completion ratio under pressure last year as a rookie. You know why? It was because of that virtual headset. I guarantee you. Because coming out of college, they said when he was under pressure, his completion ratio was like 20 something percent, or some, not percentage, but they had some number, some statistics. I don't know what it was. And they said, dude was like 20%. So putting on the virtual reality headset, every morning, and JD, go check the videos. JD5 has attributed a lot of his success to that. And, maybe at 34, it'll still work, bro. Put on that headset, put the game in 1.5 speed it up for Geno. You got defenses coming at you, make better decisions, and maybe it'll work. I don't know. But we got to draft a quarterback with upside just in case Geno shits the bed. I agree 100%. But if he does shit the bed, we do know we have a guy that could come in and still win us games. So having a rookie, is not going to come in and win us games this year if Geno shits the bed. And God, hopefully he does not, bro. Hopefully he does not. Who are your top 10 big boards in your opinion on talent alone, NFL prospect? Man, I have to give you that list tomorrow. But off the top of my head, I mean, it's got to be Genty, Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter. Big board. It's a lot of defensive players. I'm gonna have to get back to you on that. I'm not gonna give you everybody else's, but yeah, I mean, just the basics off the top of the head. But I'll go live tomorrow. I will break it down. Tomorrow will probably be early in the afternoon though, not as late as tonight. But yeah, let me get back to you on that because I haven't really thought about just the top 10 big board. I mean, I know 10 players I would like the Raiders to draft. Probably not at 6. They're going to have to trade back because I've said it a million times and I'll keep saying it. At 6, it's really only a handful of players, right, that I would be willing to roll the dice with. And I don't think Genty is rolling the dice. Abdul Carter with his injury could be rolling the dice. It's a red flag, so it's rolling the dice. Travis Hunter, bro, if he's there. I'm not the biggest Mason Graham fan. I'm not the biggest Tedero McMillan fan. I'm not really a big fan of any of these offensive linemen except Gray Zabel is the only dude that I believe, has that potential to. How could you be a bust? You could play center, you could play guard, you can play tackle. If you don't work at one spot, you put him at another spot. So at least he has 2 or 3 years before you find out, okay, this dude ain't gonna work anywhere. But come on, man, the dude is an absolute machine. I feel like a lot of people are watching the Lakers game. Yeah, I should be watching the Lakers game as well. But man, I thought I'd come on here, but I don't know. I really like the guy from Tennessee, James Pierce Jr. I know there's off-field issues and all that shit, but the dude is nasty. He's a flipping machine. I don't know, bro. There's a lot of guys. Top 10, big board. I would probably put Jahade Barron on there. I feel like he's, up there with the top. He's in that top tier of corners, in my opinion. I don't think there's, Travis Hunter, of course, is number 1, but tier 2, he's got to be in there. Eman Wari is another dude that, I mean, God, a freak of nature. Like, I don't know how anybody's going to pass on that dude in the first round. So, I mean, there's a lot of guys. Riley Leonard in the 6th. If he falls to the 6th, bro, somebody bumped their head. I'm telling you, I don't know what is going on. Yours is Carter, Hunter, Graham, McMillan, Ward, Genty, Campbell, Membu, Sanders, um, Johnson, Barron, Jahad Campbell. I love Jaden Walker. I love Matthew Golden. Here's my thing. Here's my thing with Membu and Campbell. And it's not, the 1 inch fucking bullshit. Here's my thing with Campbell. The dude is a beast. He's athletic as hell. He ran an extremely insane 40 time. He killed it in all the athletic drills at the combine. What more could you ask for? But the one thing I did see is when they played Arkansas and Landon Jackson, he worked the shit out of that boy. I mean, 6'7", 260 pounds with those long arms. I don't really think an inch matters. I don't care if his arms were 33 or 35. When you're going up against big, strong, fast dudes like that, I seen him have a problem. And in the NFL, everybody's big, strong, and fast like that. So that worries me. It definitely worries me. And I believe he's left tackle. I mean, what are you going to put him behind Colton Miller? You're going to put him at guard for a little bit? Or is he right tackle? Shit, I don't know. I could be wrong. And the same thing with Membu. Membu at Missouri when they went up against Arkansas. Landon Jackson worked that boy. he had his worst game against Landon. Landon boy was all over him. Mr. Clean with that chrome dome. Woo! He was killing it. So, and I guess he's ranked up there with the defensive ends in this draft. He's kind of creeping up the boards, which I love, for my guy to be creeping up. Landon Jackson is a dog. Why is everyone sleeping on Landon Jackson and Isaac Tesla? I don't think they're sleeping on Tesla. I think they're trying to be quiet. Like, I believe with that dude, with his size, if he could pack on more weight, he could be a Brock Bauer tight end style. He's going to kill you in the slot. You can put him at X because he ran a 4.4 440, I do believe, at the combine. I don't know why everybody's sleeping on Isaac Tesla. I don't have any idea. Okay, I do have an idea. We had Taylor Green last year, who for some reason did not like throwing the ball to Isaac Tesla. I'm not gonna lie. And there weren't many design plays for him. They had Arkansas had Andrew Armstrong, 6'6", 200-pound wide receiver with a sick catch radius, not the fastest guy in the world, runs damn good routes. And they ran the shit out of the ball. They had Quindon Jackson. They had Quindon Jackson. They had a rookie in Russell who fucking a bowling ball who transferred this year, pisses me off. And they had another running back that was explosive as hell. So they had three damn good running backs, and they had Taylor Green that's 6'6", runs a 4.4 40, and he's still raw. He's still a raw quarterback. He did damn good at Boise State, but he wasn't happy with Ashton Genty getting most of the carries, and he wasn't passing the ball a lot. So he stepped out. He went to Arkansas. But they passed the ball a lot on the outside. They didn't run a lot of, short routes. They also have another tight end. I can't remember his name right now. Haas or Hans, that transferred out also. That caught a lot of balls. So they had a lot of weapons. And with Bobby Petrino coming in as offensive coordinator, they didn't put too much pressure on Taylor Green. Like I said, he's raw. He's a junior. He'll be a senior this year. He's a mobile quarterback, right? He runs the shit out of the ball. He wasn't asked to pass too much ever in his career. So Bobby Petrino's, trying to get him to become a pocket passer, get him more accurate. And I think that hurt a lot of the Arkansas Razorbacks wide receivers and running backs. So I think for me, that's it. He didn't get as many attempts as he should have. His yards after the catch were insane. some of the catches, bro. Uh, what is the thoughts on Jaquindon Jackson? The kid's a beast. The kid, he's reminds me of this, of Rocket Sanders, that Raheem Sanders that they let go. Jaquindon's going to give any team that drafts him. If you want him to be, an all three down back, he can. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. Uh, he's not great in pass protection. He could probably work on that, but dude, he's a strong, tough kid. Like, he was hurt over and he hurt his hamstring, came back in the game. He had his ankle wrapped and a hamstring, and still came back in the game. The kid's a beast. He's going to give you everything he has. He wants to be on the field. He loves football. He's got wiggle. He's slimy for his size and his thickness. He runs hard as hell. I dig the shit out of him. If you can get him 6th round, 7th round, I don't think he's, with all the running backs in there, I don't see him, going any higher than that. But somebody's going to have a damn good running back if they draft him, even if they get a UDFA. Now, if you don't give him reps, then shit. But if you give the kid, the more you feed him, the better he gets. So he's one of those dudes that's a slow starter, right? He's not going to come out and the first 2 carries run for 100 yards. But if he gets in an open field, you're not going to catch him. He's strong as hell. He loves to, lower his shoulder. So he's going to make somebody damn. There's a lot of guys coming at Arkansas that are going to be playing in the NFL this year. I wish, Dalton Wagner would get it together for the Razorbacks. Like, Rebel, who would be your biggest disappointment selected at pick 6? T-Mac. T-Mac, 100%. If they pick T-Mac, dude, I'm erasing this tattoo. I'm getting this shit removed. I ain't fucking around. Like, I will be so pissed off, bro. If T-Mac is the pick at 6, I will be on a rampage for a long, long time. You won't just see 20-minute, 10-minute, 1-hour rant from Raider Rebel. You're going to see me on this bitch every single day, especially when he fucks up. Oh, you're going to see me on here. I don't know why. T-Mac just gives me that feeling. And when I get that feeling, bro, I had that feeling about Jamarcus Russell. The same kind of feeling. I had that feeling about Darius Hayward Bay. I'm just saying, I've had that feeling. Man, the list goes on and on. When I get those feelings, there's no changing it unless you do something spectacular. So, you're gonna have to do some crazy shit if he becomes a Raider. But yeah, I'll lose my mind, bro. Who is the most underrated prospect Raiders must draft? There's a lot. That's a damn good question, Arnie. You always have so many damn good questions. I'm never prepared for you on this show. Fuck. I gotta get better at my job. Fuck, I don't know, man. I don't know. There's a lot. I think, not most underrated, but I really believe Savion Williams is still, not getting the respect he deserves. I think he did have a little bit of drop issues, but man, I feel that dude's going to become a damn good star. Fuck, who was it? Somebody was talking about an offensive lineman on a live last night. Willie Lampton or some shit. Willie Lampton. Maybe he's the most underrated. Go watch tape on that dude. I don't know if I said his name right. I'll have to drop it in the comments once I see what I searched. But holy shit, dude. This dude is an absolute freak as a guard. So yeah, that's mine. Got that feeling. Tyree Wilson, Gardner Minshew, and now Jalen Walker. Bro, I mean, everybody kind of knew Tyree Wilson because of the foot injury. and he never had technique. You know, he was just a strong, powerful guy that was going to beat you because he was a man playing against boys in college. Now he's a man playing against men. But I still don't think Tyree Wilson is as bad as y'all think, bro. I'm telling you. Did you not see the live I broke down where I told you that Tyree Wilson only has like 2 less sacks than Jalen Carter with almost 300 less attempts than Jalen Carter? He has almost the same amount of pressures. He's better in the run game. He has a better run grade than Jalen Carter. And everybody says we passed on Jalen Carter. Tyree Wilson was hurt his first year. He was a rookie last year. And if you look at his numbers last year compared to Jalen Carter, he wasn't far behind him in sacks and run stops. They are very, very close. And I think Tyree Wilson was even better in a couple categories. The only difference was Jalen Carter had 280 something snaps more than Tyree Wilson. So, bro, I'm tired of people talking shit on Tyree and acting like he's a bust when you can't be a good football player if you don't get burn time, if you're not on the grass. Some people take, you know, 3-4 plays or a quarter or half a quarter to get that blood, you know, pop in. Some people it takes smacking some dude, you know, before they get in that groove. So for Tyree Wilson, the pick was outrageous, bro. It was way too high for an injured guy that everybody knew he wasn't going to play his first year. But watch him this year. Now, again, he's got so many people in front of him. His snaps are going to be limited to 200 snaps. Max Crosby has 900 snaps a season. Fucking, he gets 200. Like, you can't do nothing with that. So, but yeah, you know, I feel you on that. I don't know. He's got 2 more years, right? This is his going into his 3rd year. I don't know. We'll see what he does his contract year. He is mid, but we don't know, you know, with 300 less snaps and having the same stats as Jalen Carter, I don't see that being mid. I would love to see him get, you know, 500 snaps like Jalen Carter did and then compare those numbers and see what he has, because I've seen Tyree Wilson just manhandle 320-pound grown offensive linemen, put them on skates. Now, does he do it every play? No. But is he out there every play? No. So, you know, some guys are rhythm guys. And if you get in a rhythm and you get to the quarterback and then the next play they take you out because they think you need a breather, it's hard to get back into that rhythm. So, you know, I'm not completely out on Tyree. You know, I'm not defending him because he was picked 7th overall and he has not lived up to that. I'm not saying that at all. Will he ever live up to that? I don't know. But I can tell you at 200 snaps a year, no, there's no fucking way he's ever going to live up to that. So unless somebody gets hurt or he takes that step this year, which he started to do last year in the offseason, he was killing it. Like, I've seen plays where he was running, you know, doing the high step through the bags and shit. Dude, he was doing that shit faster than Max Crosby, faster than everybody on our defensive line. So the dude has upside. He has upside. Now, can he get there? Can he put in the work? I don't know. We've heard Max Crosby talk about, you know, he's trying to pull guys up at 6 o'clock in the morning to go work out. Malcolm Kuntz is the only one that keeps doing it to stay with. So maybe Tyree Wilson just doesn't have that fight in him to be that guy. Maybe he's not that interested in football. I don't know. But if you give him the snaps, bro, I think he could be dominant as hell, especially on the defense, not at end. But, you know, if you put him on a 4 technique, the 2 technique, 3 technique, I think the dude could be dominant, bro. He's strong as hell. He's a freak out there. Like, just look at him compared to those other dudes. You know, his arms are insane, bro. He got insane arm width. He just needs to get a little faster and, you know, get some more moves. Carter gets double, Wilson doesn't. Yeah, I mean, that's a damn good point. I get that too. But if you look at Carter's defensive line, it's kind of hard to double them too much because, bro, you got to double those ends. You got to double everybody on that D line. And then you got linebackers coming. So I don't know how much he gets doubled. I'd like to see the stats. I mean, that is a damn good point. But again, 300 snaps is a big, big difference. So, um, what position is Tyree best at? Defensive end, 3-tech, 5-tech, nose guard. I mean, I just 3-2. I don't. I mean, at nose guard with his size, if he could get a little faster, I think he'd destroy centers. Right? You know, they're bent down, they're looking up, they're trying to snap the ball and all that shit. I just don't think he's fast enough to do that. But at the 3 technique, 4 technique, you know, I'm not mad at that. When Crosby went down, Tyree Wilson should have took over instead. Chason Kuntz is a dog. Tyree Wilson is a depth rotational piece at best. But that you have to look at the coaching also. You have to look at the coaching also. You know, who was the coach at the time? It was Antonio Pierce. Who was running, you know, the defense? Who was making the decisions on the personnel? Who was in? Who wasn't? When again, when Crosby got hurt, before we brought in Chason, he had pretty good pretty damn good games, and he still wasn't out there 90%, 97, 98% of the snaps like Max Crosby. In fact, he wasn't even out there, 50% of the snaps. And, but Chason is a totally different animal. He's a defensive end naturally. I don't think Tyree Wilson was ever a defensive end. He was always a defensive tackle, in my opinion. He just got away with it in college. You're not going to get away with that shit in the NFL. But if somebody goes down again this year, and also Tyree Wilson played a lot of different positions last year. He played left end, he played right end, he played the 3 technique, the 2 technique. Shit, he even played nose on a couple plays. So the dude was all over. Being versatile. Like I seen him progress. It was very little because he missed half the season this first year. Like I said, last year was pretty much his rookie year. And for his rookie year, it wasn't bad for the amount of snaps he got. Yeah, where we drafted him he's never going to make up for that, unless, like I said, maybe in year 3 it clicks. Hey, some guys, look at Malcolm Kuntz, right? Malcolm Kuntz could not get on the grass. He could not get no burn time. He was 3rd or 4th on the depth chart in practice in the off season. And then we get the right coach that says, man, throw this kid in here and see what he's got. Malcolm Kuntz doesn't come off the grass, right? He takes over that shit. he gets 8 sacks in half a season, 2 forced fumbles. Like the dude was all over the field. It just took a different atmosphere, a different coach, somebody that believed in him. And the other coaches, obviously, in front of him, in front of AP, did not believe in him. So, I believe we can get better than what we got last year out of him. I'll be good with that. But I think we did the same thing we did last year, right? We brought him in, we drafted him, we knew he was hurt, and then we brought a bunch of people in to fill in his spot because we knew he couldn't play. Or he wasn't going to play because he was hurt. And then when he started getting better, we had the shit going on with bath salt, dude. Like Chandler Jones just lost his mind and went insane. And, Kuntz and Tyree he had to play. Like we didn't really have nobody. It was a weak offensive line. And then last year, like you said, we brought in Chason, we brought in Jonah Lalu, which took reps away from him, a lot of reps away from him. Then we brought in Carter. Like they just keep bringing in all these guys and taking reps away. And, to me, the way to learn is burn time, right? On the grass. So, and the more you could get, the better. Like Max Crosby has nothing but great things to say about Tyree Wilson, and I hope all that shit comes true because I'm tired of our first round picks being bust. I was looking at something today. What was I looking at? Oh, I was trying to figure out the points scenario because somebody asked me yesterday, where do I think we could trade back to? And I was trying to figure out how the points scenario works. So basically, we're at 1,600 points. Not to change the subject, I never figured it out. I didn't. I know from 1 to 16 is worth 1,000 points, and from 1 to 32 is worth 100 points, which I don't know what the hell that is, but I'm gonna figure this shit out eventually. So basically, the second round pick, if somebody wanted to move up, would be, if we traded first round picks, we could get a second and a third. It depends on where. Like if the Rams from 20 or whatever wanted to move up to 6, bro, it cost them 2 firsts, a second, and a third. Like, so I'm just saying, some teams might be willing to move up, some teams might not. But Rebel, name one player on the offense that needs to step up this year and on defense. Not step up, but be what we paid him for. Christian Wilkins. I mean, I know he was hurt. I know he only played, 3 games, but the production in those games wasn't nothing to really write home about or go crazy about. So I think Christian Wilkins needs to have a huge year. I know he restructured his contract, took a little bit of money off that. Excuse me, which definitely helps us a lot. We haven't done shit with it, but it helps. Tyree Wilson. I think Tyree Wilson. I mean, I can't name one. I can't name one. I mean, Tyree Wilson. It's got to be Tyree. You can't. There's no other player that was picked in the first round that we have on our defense. Right? Do we have any first round picks on our defense? Not that we drafted. We have 2 first round picks on our defense. I do believe that we just signed in Stokes and the other cat. But damn, I'm gonna have to go back and look at that. I don't think we have any first round draft picks on our defense. But Tyree Wilson, so it's got to be Tyree, bro. He's got to take that next leap. I'd love to see him get 8 to 10 sacks. Get 500 attempts, meaning he's out there on the grass. But I just don't see it happening. We signed Adam Butler to this big ass contract. We got Christian Wilkins coming back. Supposed to be healthy, hopefully out for vengeance. Jonah Lalu, in my opinion, is going to take a lot of grass time from both of those players, Christian Wilkins and Adam Butler. The more you put that dude on the grass, the better he's going to be. So it's going to be hard for that man to get them reps, dude. He's going to have to go crazy on offense. I don't know. Everybody struggled last year. I want to say Trey Tucker, but I just don't. Him stepping up is going to be from 400 yards to 600 yards. He's not going to get enough attempts to do anything big unless, all his plays are big plays over 20 yards. Geno Smith, bro. Geno Smith. Fuck it. It's Geno Smith. There's your answer. Geno Smith needs to step up on the offense, turnover wise. We can't have 21 touchdowns and 21 turnovers, 15 interceptions, 6 fumbles. We can't have that. It's Geno Smith all day. I was going to say Colton Miller and Tyree Wilson. I mean, for Geno Smith to have success, you're right. It has to be Colton Miller. That's a damn good answer. He has to play better. But he played well after December, right? When he kind of got in a rhythm, got in his mix, when he learned the guy next to him, when he, got more confident in the offense of guys next to him. I don't think he ever got confident in the running backs being able to block or help out or do shit. But yeah, I mean, you could definitely throw Colton Miller out there 100%. He has to be up there on that list. He had a rough year. What did he give up? 8 sacks? 8 sacks last year, the most in his career. I think that's more than he's given up in a couple years back to back. So, yeah, Colton Miller, Tyree Wilson, definitely. Trey Tucker needs to step up. I would love to see, Ramel Keaton get some grass time. The dude is 6'2", 200 pounds, has speed, has an insane catch radius. The guy is lightning with the ball in his hands. I would love to see some more out of that kid. Uh, Dylan Labe. I want to see Dylan Labe. I don't give a shit what everybody says. He's not going to make it. He's not going to be that dude. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Let him get grass time. Put him on the grass and see what he does, bro. Because, man, wheel routes, something. Throw him the ball. Get him off special teams. Let him get in some games. And, I think the kid's going to help us. If he could just get on the field, I think he'd really, really, really help this offense. And if you look at Chip Kelly's offense last year, right? He had Travion Henderson, and I'm not saying Dylan Labe is Travion Henderson, but he can catch better than Travion Henderson. Way better than Travion Henderson. He could catch better than any of these running backs coming out this year or last year, and probably any of these receivers coming out. So Dylan Labe is a catching machine, bro, and you have to put that dude out there, just to stretch the field once in a while and see if he can, hang with these dudes, because he is small, bro. He is small. He gave up some sacks. Colton Miller, he gave up a couple. Trey Tucker, big opportunity being wide receiver number 2 now until the draft. Until they draft Kyle. What? Kyle Williams, bro. That would be crazy. That would be a damn good pickup. That would be a damn good pickup. Our Burden, I would rather have Trey Harris than a Burden, but I wouldn't be mad at Burden. I mean, he's going to stretch the field. Dylan didn't let anybody down last year. I don't see how you could say that. He got one attempt. He had two attempts running it back, and one was for 50 yards. The kid is explosive. I'm telling you. Like, he ran a kickoff from the end zone to the 50-yard line. And if he would have just broke one more tackle and could have got a block, the dude would have went to the house. He's dynamic with the ball in his hands. Like, you don't have to just watch highlights, but go watch a couple games at New Hampshire 2 years ago of Dylan Labe, man. They lined the kid up at slot. They lined him up at the X. They lined him up at the Y. They played him everywhere but tight end, bro. The dude is crazy. Like, so he's one of those dudes that is a sleeper, but man, you gotta hold on to the ball. I get it. It's the NFL. Rebel, which are our free agents signed will not make our 53-man roster. It's way too early for that for me. I have a lot of questions about a lot of guys, really. A lot of guys. More than probably people would think. Some of the guys we brought in, some of the linebackers we brought in, I think there's some hungry guys on this roster that we brought in last year and the year before at the corner position, at the linebacker position, at the safety position that got hurt that definitely want to play, right? Right, Arnie, are you asking ChatGPT for these questions? Forget it. He's going tonight. He's like, I'm gonna break down everything. But hey, I got answers for you, bro. I got answers. Come with it. Come with it. But I'm questioning a couple guys already off the top. I got some question about some offensive linemen. Damn it. Remind me next time I go live. Next time you see me go live, will somebody please jump in the comments and type, "Hey Rebel, get your shit ready for Arnie Garza," so I don't forget, because I smoke and I don't have the greatest memory at 50 years old. But for real, bro, if you would hop in there and let me get my notes down, because I gotta have a pen and paper to write down all these questions so I could be ready for the next day for the ones I can't answer because I feel like a dumbass not coming out. But there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of questions. You know, we have MJ Davonshire drafted in the 6th round last year, was hurt most of the year, didn't really get a lot of reps. We re-signed Sam Webb, who did decent. Darnay Holmes. I have some questions about Darnay making this roster just because of his size. You know, there's I don't know if, you know, Dalton Wagner's even going to be on to make it on the roster for the practice squad again. There's a lot of guys that are, you know, very, very questionable, teeter-tottering. I know Dylan is explosive. I talked him up huge last year. Trey as well. I've never been that big on Trey. I don't like a receiver that can run that fast, that has to catch the ball with his, you know, with his body every time, bro. He just, matter of fact, I'm gonna have to go back and look at his combine numbers if I can find them and see what his hand size is, because, you know, I don't. Maybe he has small hands. I don't know. Maybe that's it. Maybe he just doesn't have faith in his catching ability. But Trey Tucker leaves a lot on the field, and it pisses me off because, you know, I want him to do well. He's a fucking Raider. I want him to be the best receiver, slot receiver, you know, number 2 receiver there is. But, you know, Devontae Adams made comments last year saying, you know, he got eye surgery, whatever, so his eyes were better, but that didn't really help the fact that he still dives for everything over his head. Now, I don't know if because of his size, if he's looking back and he can't see the ball, or he's, you know, he just he tracks it too late, or his depth perception is way off. I don't know. I don't know what it is. But for some reason, he has to catch the ball with his chest or dive for it. And, you know, you leave so much on the grass when you're diving for footballs, and you have 2 steps on a guy or 3 steps on a guy. And if you catch it, there's no way he's catching you with your speed. But, I mean, I don't know. But I hope Trey does better. Hondo Creepy Carpenter keeps drafting. Sorry, you didn't say that. Raiders. Hondo Carpenter keeps drafting Jared Wilson, center from Georgia. Why draft another center? Hondo doesn't have it all together lately. And after the whole bathtub thing with, I'm not even going to say that. I don't really, I'm out on anything the dude fucking has to say. Like, whew, that was wild. Bro, I don't know. I don't know why. Especially when we have Will Putnam. Like, we have Will Putnam, which many people don't know, but I keep saying the dude from Clemson played in every single snap his whole entire college career but one. He allowed like 1 sack his whole entire college career at center. The dude is an absolute machine. He's on our practice squad. He got in a fight with Robert Spillane last year in OTAs. Will Putnam is that dude. If you go watch film on that guy, compare him to any center in this draft or last year's draft. I don't know why he was a UDFA. Maybe he's a dickhead. I don't know. Maybe he's not the smartest guy at center. I don't know. But physically, athleticism, the dude is a machine, bro. So why would we draft another center? I don't know. But in a perfect world, if I was the coach this year, I would be putting Will Putnam at center, JPJ at left guard next to Colton Miller, because he needs all the help he can get at his age right now and the way he was playing last year. Put JPJ over there, because the center, you know, his job 90% of the time is to hit the nose guard. If there is a nose guard, a lot of people don't even run with nose guards anymore. But, you know, if there is a nose in front of him, you hit that dude and you pass him off to the guard, right? Or you're doubling, you're pushing him off and you're helping the next guy. So Will Putnam could do that, bro. The dude is a beast. Hondo is weak sauce, in my opinion. You know, the man's a freak, and hopefully somebody sees it on this staff and they're like, bro, why is this dude not getting more grass time? Why is he not running with the first team so we can see what he has? Because really, if you put Will Putnam with JPJ, Colton Miller, and Jordan Meredith with DJ Glaze, ow, son of a bitch, that scab hurt. Bro, that's nasty to me. That's nasty. That's 300 plus pounds. That's 320 plus pounds, I think, for every one of those dudes. All of them over 6'3". That's nasty work up front, right? That's hog shit right there. So to me, I'd be trying to work that offensive line. Jared, Parham as a backup, Mumford as a backup, just in case anything happens. But I really want to see us draft Gray Zabel, dude. I'm really, if Genty is not the guy, trade back, grab Gray Zabel, whatever pick it is, somewhere in the first round, because he's not making it out of the first round. And then no matter what position we need to fill on the offensive line, if somebody gets hurt, he could fill it. If he's not starting, which he's going to start from day one. He's better than any offensive lineman we have right now, even JPJ, in my opinion. Like, I think he's more physical. He's bigger. He's probably not going to get as many penalties as JPJ, but Gray Zabel, bro, with JPJ on our line would be nasty. It would be nasty. It would be, he would be, whoo, that shit would be lights out. Lights to the out. I have a cigarette out here. Some bitch. What else we got? What else you got for me, Arnie? So, yeah, look for a couple guys that were on this roster last year. To not be on it. Like, I know we signed Mari Burney, Muhammad 5'9" cornerback. I like the cornerback from Oregon. I just think in this day and age that we need the fastest, biggest guys, especially in Pete Carroll's system. Pete Carroll just 5'9". I mean, shit, I'm 5'10", so trying to compete with these guys that are 6'2", 6'3", even 6'4", 6'5", and 6'6" now, when you got guys like Savion Williams coming out, Jalen Higgins. Dude, some of these dudes are insane monsters. So unless you got a 42-inch vertical, and a 12-foot long jump, it's kind of hard to compete with some of these guys. But we do need to fill a slot. And, those smaller guys, I think, are better in the slot, can fill the slot position a lot better. But I wouldn't be mad at Muhammad. He plays bigger than 5'9". But I'm still trying to get over the fact that why our general manager decided to go to Ashton Genty's pro day and miss Ohio State and LSU pro day. Just don't. There's like 12 prospects from Ohio State. Why would you go see one? Things that make you go, Rub a dub dub in the tub. But yeah, so I don't know, man. These numbers and these decision making, to me, is absolutely wild. Would you like to sign Asante Samuel for our slot? If they were gonna sign him, I think they would have already signed him. But yes, I would have signed him as soon as he became a free agent. I think the dude's nasty, but again, we don't know who's going to be our slot right now. It could be Stokes. It could be Jack Jones. It could be DCAM. It could be MJ Davonshire. You don't count that dude out. I mean, maybe it was something with the coaching staff last year, but, he could still develop into a damn good corner. And I really believe with Marcus Robinson in the building that these corners are all going to take a next step. Like Sam Webb, all these dudes are going to get better. You know, Sam Webb's going on what, his second or third year in this system. And the, you know, it might change up a little bit, but with the defensive coordinator, us having a defensive coordinator for 4 years now is crazy, right? Like that shit doesn't happen in the NFL very much. We lost a couple of guys, but a lot of these guys have still been in this, you know, in Patrick Graham style for a while. And some of these guys, you know, they've been in the these corners that they're getting better and better in the in zone, and we don't run enough man coverage. But I think, you know, guys like DCam is sticky in man coverage. I think he struggled in zone last year. But again, with the teachers we got in the room, our coach being a DB guy, I think we're set there. I mean, it's a damn good room. Our linebackers too. I mean, I know we have some old guys, but we still don't know what we have in Tommy Eichenberg. Is Luke Masterson still on the roster? I think he's gone. But we still have some young guys, you know, that were hurt last year, like Trey Taylor. That is definitely going to make a difference in this defense, 100%. In Pete Carroll's defense, I think Trey Taylor is going to be a guy that surprises a lot of people, and I hope he does after the, you know, the whole Patrick Mahomes, Kermit the Frog puppet shit. The dude deserves to, you know, get back in the limelight, get back, because everybody thought the dude was going to be the, you know, the breakout rookie last year, and it just so happened, I think, you know, when you do shit like that, you don't get on the grass. So hopefully Duke could come out and do something special. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. We're deep, but we're very, very young. Very young. Rebel, there's a lot of smoke and mirrors for GM tricks. Get more draft capital for the 6th pick. Bro, I started this trade back shit. So believe me, there was nobody talking about trade back. It wasn't even a question. In my first mock draft, second mock draft, and there on out was trade back. It makes sense. It makes sense. If you look at Pete Carroll, what he's done, look at Spytek, how he loves his picks. It just makes all the sense in the world. They're talking up the number 6 pick for a reason. There's a reason he went to see only Ashton Genty, took the running backs coach, you know, to visit there. There's a reason he threw the story out that his son is going to find another family if he doesn't take Ashton Genty at 6. There's a reason he told the story that he went up to Mark Davis and said, my dad's not doing a good job if we don't take Ashton Genty at 6. It's smoke and mirrors. You're right, 100%. And I believe that if they don't pick at 6, if they do pick at 6, it's going to be Genty. I don't see it being anybody else. I just see too many people in the building. You know, the majority is going to have to rule, and Tom Brady might not be the biggest on that, but he got his quarterback, right? They got their quarterback. He signed off on that. Somebody's going to have to give. We need a running game. You know, is it later in the rounds? Is it 6 pick? To me, I'm not mad at 6, but I really feel with Spytek coming out and saying that Genty's not going to be the pick. We're not picking at 6. I really just don't think. I really don't think we're picking at 6. It makes so much sense. Now, we could go crazy and, you know, double trade back, which I did in a mock draft. I had 14 picks that we got. We got a first round, a second, and a third the first time, and a second the next year. The next time we traded back, we got, what did we get? A second, a third, a second, a fourth, and a second the following year. Like, bro, and I know you're not going to get picks like that, but I guarantee you, with the talk of Dallas Cowboys wanting Tedero McMillan, as bad as they do, Jerry Jones is not afraid to throw some picks in somebody's face and be like, here, we want this guy. Don't pick him at 6. Trade back with us. And I thought it might be Ashton Genty, if we trade with the Cowboys. It could be Shador, with all the smoke and mirrors with Shador falling out of the top 10, falling out of the first round. I don't think that's going to happen, bro. Like, if Shador falls out of the first round, there should be a lot of GMs fired. I mean, really, he's not the greatest, but he has potential to be a quarterback for a long time in the NFL, in my opinion. But, smoke and mirrors is a big thing. And I feel with the way that they've gone about it the last couple days is they're trying to let everybody know they're taking Genty at 6 unless you knock us out of that spot. And the only way you knock us out of that spot is to knock our socks off. We're not just going to be like, okay, we'll take, we'll trade spots and we'll take a second. That's not going to cut it, bro. It's not going to cut it. I think it's going to have to be trade spots this year, maybe a first next year, and their second round, or, a second and a third this year. It's going to be a bag. If we look at the numbers, like I was trying to break down, to trade back from 12, from 12 to 6 costs like 2,200 points. That's 2 first rounds in 2/3 for 2,200 points. That's a lot of capital. So it just makes all the sense in the world. But again, I'm not mad whatsoever with Ashton Genty. I think he's a dude that's gonna make Geno Smith be the best quarterback that he could possibly be, because you're not going to be running, you're not going to pass the ball 40 times a game with the Ashton Genty in your lineup. The dude's going to run the ball 25, 30 times. I mean, so that changes a lot right there also. Hold up, what I miss? Rebel, with Graham, Genty, Sanders available at 6, who would you select? Our draft down to 12 and get 44 pick also. Now, I've seen three reports by Dallas Cowboys reporters that are kind of like, our Adam Scheffler and Vic Tafer, kind of guys that are, exclusive, whatever, Raider, mostly shit. I've seen 3 reports. Hey, can you turn that light back on? Lights out, game over. But I seen 3 reports where the Raiders got their 12th pick, 44, and 173 or 153, which I believe is their 4th or 5th pick, somewhere in there, their 4th or 5th. But I seen 3 different reports that said at least 3 picks for the 6th from Dallas. So, I mean, that would be huge, bro. That would be huge. But if I had to pick, it kind of just depends on, where this draft falls. Like, again, there could be a scenario where Travis Hunter is sitting there at 6, I mean, there could be a scenario where Abdul Carter somehow falls to 6. There could be some crazy shit that we're not expecting in this draft. And then, everybody's big board is out the window. Everybody's mock is out the window. But that's hard, bro. It's hard. Like, it depends on who we're trading back with. Now, if it's Dallas and they're offering 3 picks, I'm trading back. If it's, say the New Orleans Saints want to go up and get Shador because Shador's there at 6, or maybe they're really high on Jackson Dart, which a lot of people are saying New Orleans is pretty big on Jackson Dart. Maybe they move up to get a Jackson Dart and shock the world. I mean, that shit could happen also. So, again, it's Genty to me. If Sanders is there, Mason Graham, I don't see Mason Graham being much better than really the dude that was next to him all year. Fuck's his name? I can't think right now. But Walter Nolan, like, man, there's so many guys that are so close to Mason Graham. Taking him at 6 just doesn't make sense to me. None of these running backs are anywhere near Ashton Genty's league. Like, he had more yards after contact than every single running back in college football. Like, they say he can't catch. He led the, he was tops in receiving 2 years ago when he didn't run the ball 30 times a game. So, Genty could do it all, bro. He could do it all, and I'm taking him all day unless somebody makes it worth your while. And to me, 2 picks is not. I'm not trading back for that. I'm not losing to Ashton Genty to get one more pick in the second round. To me, that's not worth it. You're gonna have to give me at least 3 picks minimum, and they're gonna have to be damn good picks. Um, Rebel with Chin, IPM playing safety position. Who is our true free safety, best coverage safety? We got who is coverage safety. It's not Isaiah Paul Mao. Like I love Isaiah, but it's not. It's not him. Um, I don't know, man. Right now, we're gonna have to wait till camp. But right now, if it was me, I would put Chin in Morig's spot at free safety, and I'd leave Isaiah where he was. Right, that's where he played last year. He did pretty damn well. Taking over for Marcus Epps, unless they feel Chin is going to be better at that spot. But Chin, as much as he plays in the box, as much as they put him at linebacker, move him around, I think he's going to be more of our true free safety kind of guy. I think just leave Isaiah where he's at. Let him be strong. Um, Genty will sell tickets. Jersey be rookie of the year. Who was our last rookie of the year, Rebel? Fuck. Who was our last rookie of the year? Was it Charles Woodson? It can't be that long, bro. It can't be that long. Who was our last rookie of the year? Arnie got all the good questions, I swear. This motherfucker got me stumped again. Who was it? Who was it? Mid to first, second rounds, second, third, and trade the sixth and seventh for the second and fourth rounder would be good. 2 seconds, 2/3 in a mid sixth or seven. I'd be down. No, we'd have to swap first. I'm not trading completely out of the first. Yeah, Kenneth Grant. So Kenneth Grant's got longer arms. He's just as explosive. Um, the Mason Graham thing, the arm length worries me more than it does, Will Campbell, because Campbell's offensive lineman to me is, it's just different. Being a nose down in a 3-point stance, having to get double teamed constantly with those small arms in the NFL, I think it's going to be a problem for Mason Graham. Now, I know the dude's explosive and he can. It was Josh Jacobs. Oh shit, he was rookie of the year. Damn, I gotta stop smoking. He was rookie of the year. Fuck. As hell. But yeah, I don't know. Mason, there's not enough. There's not enough guys in this draft to convince me to pick at 6. I'm just it. I kind of like Will Johnson, but the injuries, bro. Like you get hurt training for the combine, tear your hammy. That shit's scary. Um, and then you have to look at free agency. Like we pretty much covered linebacker. We pretty much covered corner. We pretty much covered safety. We pretty much covered defensive line. Defense is pretty much covered if you look at it. Now, are the guys that we have going to be able to fill those holes and step up and be the guys we need them to be? That's a huge question. But defense is pretty much covered. We need another running back, maybe 2. Um, I'd love to see a couple more wide receivers in camp and battle it out. But then again, the more receivers you bring into camp, the more the more reps you're taking away from developing guys in camp that we got last year or this year. So, man, it's hard, bro. It's hard. Like, it's got to be hard to be a coach in the NFL. You got to have guys. You got to give them reps. They don't get enough reps. You know, some guys need more than others. Like, uh, I don't know. I don't know. I think linebacker is definitely Chio. What's good, my guy? Appreciate you. Um, Linebacker. We need speed at linebacker. I want to see us get the fastest linebacker in this draft and develop that dude, right? Develop into a tackle machine, to a run stopping machine, to a sideline to sideline coverage machine. Like, develop these players. And I think we got the coaching staff to do it. So I wouldn't be mad at taking a linebacker in the first round if we trade back. You know, I really kind of get another scenario where I said last year and the year before, the way you turn a franchise around that's, you know, on the brink of, well, I guess we weren't on the brink. We were asked last year, but that could have been changed with a couple of different players starting, in my opinion. But the way you change a team is you get the best players available. And if you have a chance to you know, get damn good capital for the sixth pick and trade back to whatever it is, 9, 10, 12, 13, 15, and then you use those picks to get back up into the first round and get another, you know, top caliber guy like a Gray Zabel, bro, I would be extremely static if somehow we pulled off like a Houston did. I mean, we're not getting them in the, you know, second and fourth. That's not going to happen. But if you could trade back and get a, you know, pick somewhere at 12 and then pick somewhere at 20 and you get a, you know, the best linebacker in this draft, which is the dude from Georgia, in my opinion, or Alabama, you know, you go get that fool, and then you get a Gray Zabel to shore up this offensive line, and then you just go get your wide receiver in a second, or, you know, another running back in a second. Bro, this team is on an uphill swing, 1,000%. Rebel, either Hunter, Genty, Carter at 6. Pick or trade down the highest bidder. Who is the most desperate team for a running back or quarterback drafting below us? That's another thing that's going to depend on where this draft falls. Like, if Shador slips, you know, if he's sitting there at 6 and we don't want him, then the Jets aren't going to try to do nothing, right? Because they could just pick him at 7 if that's their guy. You also have Dart. You also have Tyler Shuck in there that a lot of people, you know, are saying is better than Shador Sanders and Jackson Dart. There's a lot of people that have Tyler Shuck ahead of those dudes and moving up on their board. So, you know, there could be teams that are very high on that kid too. He's got a lot of experience. He does have a little bit of injury shit, but he has all the attributes you need to be a starting NFL quarterback. He has the size. He ran a 4.6 40, I think, in the combine. Like, dude is nasty. So, I mean, it depends on how this draft goes, and, you know, everything can change. But I see the Saints, the New Orleans Saints, you know, they could be one of those teams that move up. You know, the Giants, maybe they pick Abdul Carter falls to him, or maybe Travis Hunter falls to him. And, you know, maybe they try to move back up into the first round to get their quarterback and not wait till the second. So there's a lot of crazy shit that could happen. So, I mean, and it might be T-Mac. It might be Dallas trying to move up to get a receiver, you know, put Tedero McMillan next to CeeDee Lamb. I mean, damn, you got Dak Prescott throwing him the ball. You got your quarterback in waiting and Joe Milton, who it'll be just any slip up from Dak Prescott and Joe Milton's trying to get in the door. Like, if you go watch Joe Milton against the Buffalo Bills, the only game he played ever in the NFL, he was like 22 for 26 with a touchdown and 300 or something yards. Dude, that's your first game ever in the NFL for a 7th round pick. No wonder they went and got Joe Milton. Like, that was the crazy. I don't know why the Raiders didn't do that shit, bro. I would have went and got Joe Milton all day for what they gave up. Come on, you got Joe Milton and a 7th for a 5th round. steal all day. So I know I'm just blabbering, getting off your question, but I really don't know if a team's willing to move up for a Genty. But I mean, the Chicago Bears could be one of those teams that are like, this is the puzzle piece, the key puzzle piece to our puzzle that we've been missing. And you got a damn good running back to take pressure off of Caleb Williams, who was going into his second year in the NFL, who had way too much pressure being the number one pick and still had a pretty good year, right? 30 touchdowns, I think. Under 10 interceptions, I believe, or somewhere in there. I don't know, but had a pretty decent year for a rookie. Genty would take the pressure off of him big time, and the Chicago Bears would be, playoff bound, in my opinion. Their defense started to step up late in the season. That could be a team that, could jump in there. And I don't know where they're sitting right now. 12, 13, 10, where that Bears at 10. The Bears could do it. The Bengals are probably an offensive line, a defensive line, and a running back away from, being just a crazy dominant team with the quarterback they have. So, and defensive line too. I mean, there could be somebody that has, Mason Graham on their board. Maybe he's there at 6, and maybe they're like, the Bengals are like, holy shit, we didn't think he'd fall this far. We can get sneaking here with the Raiders. I mean, there's a lot, bro. A lot. So, yeah, if Hunter's there, you have to take him. There's no doubt about it. If Genty's there, I mean, it just depends. It just depends on if Spytek really feels that's the piece he needs to, to build this team for the future, then take it. If Carter's there, I'm going to say no on Carter. And I know people are going to be like, what the fuck? You really saying no on Abdul Carter? Yes, I am, for 2 reasons. He's not only have a foot injury, he has a shoulder injury, he has a wrist injury. The dude is a walking Band-Aid going into the combine. Yes, he's a freak of nature. Yes, he has all the upside in the world. But, is that injury like a Tyree Wilson injury? It's just a stretch fracture. Does he have to have surgery? Is he going to miss half the season? And then on the other hand, you have Max Crosby, who's going to play 99% of your snaps. You just gave $12 million to Malcolm Kuntz. Are you really going to bring in a guy, that's going to compete and fight Malcolm Kuntz for reps and never really see what you have in a guy you just paid $12 million to in Malcolm Kuntz and split reps with him? It makes no sense. Now, for the future, it would be nasty to have all 3 of those guys. But again, you're taking snaps away from Tyree Wilson. You're not developing the guys we have on the roster, taking a guy like that. So, I mean, I wouldn't. Now, a lot of people would, but man, I would not. Like that. Raiders. Rebel, which position Raiders can't pass on if available at 6? I feel like we can get away with passing on a lot of positions at 6. There's not really one that I feel we have to draft at the number 6 position. Now, in the first round, yes, there's a lot of players that, Gray Zabel, Agenti, Jahad Barron, Nick Emanwari. There's a million guys that would turn this team around in a heartbeat. But I think I'd be pissed if we got a receiver at 6. I'd be really pissed, really, really pissed if we got a guard at 6. I'd kind of be mad at Abdul Carter. Like I said, I know he can be that franchise dude, but man, that's just too many guys fighting for reps when you're trying to develop guys. Too many guys behind them. But it's Genty though. It's just Genty. Running back is the biggest position of need we have right now. You could say it's linebacker, but we have guys that can fill in and play. You could say it's, corners. We have guys that can fill in and play. The guys that might even, be Pro Bowl type guys in the next year or two. Quarterback, with the signing of Geno, it makes no sense to pay a quarterback $8-9 million to sit for 2 years. I mean, I love the development process, but damn, not when you got Riley Leonard sitting there. Who's damn, that's got to be the pick. But I don't know. I really think that we don't have to pick at 6. There's nothing written in stone that's saying the Raiders have to pick at 6 because we need this position. Like, there's not, I mean, except for running back. And that's only because Genty's there. If Ashton Genty wasn't in this draft and it was just the rest of the guys that had 1,800 yards, didn't do nothing special, then I'd be waiting till the second, probably the third round to draft a running back. But the fact that this dude is on the board, you just can't pass him up, and you're dumb if you do. And I think kind of Spytek was saying, like, even his son knows if you pass on Ashton Genty, you're making a big mistake, bro. You're making a big mistake. Chip Kelly had Mostert in his prime. Folks saying Genty has a lot of miles. Then he's a day one starter and a 1,200-yard back. I believe he's over a 1,200-yard back. I think that dude could easily be rookie of the year with 14, 15, 1,600 yards, depending on how many carries we give him. Just because he's a bowling ball and he's hard to tackle, and even as good as defenses are and players are in the NFL, there's still a lot of bad tacklers. I mean, we had one on our team. I won't say his name. He just got a whole bunch of money, went to another team, but he played linebacker. Y'all should know, if you watch me and follow me enough, you know who I'm talking about. But there are guys in the NFL that cannot tackle, that are very bad tacklers at all positions, defensive line and corners, safety. It doesn't matter, linebacker. So this dude's going to make a difference. He's going to make a difference more than anybody has. And I hear people saying he's not Barry Sanders. No, he's not. He's Ashton Genty. Like, Ashton Genty did shit that Barry Sanders didn't even do. Yes, he was only 20 yards away. He didn't break his record. But come on. I've looked at their stats by game. Ashton Genty did shit that Barry Sanders didn't do. LaDainian Tomlinson didn't do. Saquon Barkley didn't do. Emmitt Smith didn't do. Eric Dickerson didn't do. Walter Payton didn't do. The list goes on and on of shit that these guys didn't do that Ashton Genty has done. And, we've whiffed on so many picks. We were just talking about it earlier. Tyree Wilson at 7. How could you not take Genty at 6, bro? We took Tyree Wilson at 7. We took Alex fucking Leatherwood at 6. Bro, we took Darius Hayward-Bay inside the top 10, I do believe. Like, the list goes on and on of people we've taken in, with our first round picks that didn't do nowhere near the shit Ashton Genty did in his college career. So to me, I mean, I don't know. To me, it makes all the sense in the world. But again, trading back makes all the sense in the world too. Which free agent signing will overachieve by overtaking existing roster? I mean, it's Chin, in my opinion, but I think Eric Stokes is gonna surprise some people, and Lonnie too. I think both of those dudes are, they're on a mission to prove that they deserve to be in the NFL. They've grown up, they took their licks, and that both of them sounded very, very determined. And I believe both of those dudes are going to be competing for a starting spot. And to me, that puts, either Ja'Cory Bennett or Jack Jones on the outs, because Eric Stokes, he sounds like he's on a mission. Like I said, Chin already has his job. Lonnie Johnson is competing for that job. Size-wise, coverage-wise, I don't know. Paula Miles Young, he's had that spot, so there's going to be competition, but it's really one of those guys. I would love for it to be Devin White. I mean, that would be the best thing for us that could possibly happen to us this offseason is have Devin White be the Devin White he was, when they were in the Super Bowl, where he picked off the first pass, I do believe, for, changed the whole game around. Like that Devin White, a sack machine, a run stopping machine. If we can get that dude for the 1.245 million, whatever we paid him, under 2 mil, under 1.5, bro, that's going to change our season around a lot. A lot. Rebel, speak on it. We suck so bad at drafting in the first round, thanks to Gruden, McDummy, and a clueless Mark Davis. I mean, it's not even them. It goes back to, bro. All right, tomorrow I'm gonna have to pull out the computer because I'm gonna have to fucking pull this shit up. If I could find the damn website I was on. Wait, hold on. Maybe it's still in my phone. How long I've been on here? An hour and 40? That's not too bad. What was I looking at it on? Oh, I think this is it. Now this is crazy shit, bro. This is the craziest shit I ever seen. Nope, that ain't it. Hold on. Bear with me. Team draft pages. I think this is it. Yeah. All right, let's break this shit down. I wish there was more people in here to drop some knowledge on. All right, let's start at the bottom. I was gonna start at the top and work down, but since 2014, the Raiders drafted first round number 5, Khalil Mack. Value +2. They drafted Derek Carr, second round number 36. Value was a reach, -2. Gabe Jackson, value +12. Justin Ellis, value +5. Keith McGill, value +53. Travis Carey, reach, -48 at 7. Shelby Harris at 7 was a reach, -47. Jonathan Dowling out of Kentucky, value +29. 2015, Amari Cooper was a reach at 4, -1 value. Mario Edwards Jr., Florida State, was a reach, -51 value. Clive Walford, +14 value. Joe Feliciano was a reach at 4th, 128, -71 value. Ben Hinney in the 5th round, -17 value. Narion Ball, -28 value. Max Valls, Virginia, +60 value at 6. The other 3 were reaches, -221, -158, and -187. -187. Now, I'm not going to go through each one of these and their numbers, but 2016, our first round pick, Carlos Joseph, was a reach of -31. Our second round pick, Jihad Ward, was a reach of -51. The only 2 values in that draft were our third round pick and our 4th round pick, Carter Cook. Value at quarterback was a 69. The rest were a reach of 69, 185, and 185. In 2017, our first round pick, I don't even know why the hell they picked this dude, was such a stupid, oh God. But I had one of those feelings. Karan Conley, cornerback out of Ohio State, was a reach at 25. Markel Lee, reach. reach, 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 reach. In 2017, the only position of value was our second round pick and our fifth round pick, plus 23 and plus 12. In 2018, our only position of value was Arden fucking Keys at a LSU, plus 63. We drafted in the third round. The other only value is Maurice Hurst. We got in the fifth round, plus 117. In Oklahoma State, wide receiver Marcel Atman. I don't even know who the fuck that is, and I'm a Raider fan. Plus 65 value. We had 9 picks in that draft. 2 of them were of value. 2019, Cleve Farrell, minus 14, reach. Josh Jacobs, reach, minus 16. Jonathan Abrams, reach, minus 31. Travion Mullen, I miss him. I love that kid. Reach, 20. Max Crosby, a reach, minus 48. Shit, where did that go? What the fuck happened? Sorry, I lost my place. Hold up. The fuck year was I on? Arden Keys. Okay, yeah, got it. Isaiah Johnson Jr., reach. Foster Monroe, plus 13 value, tight end. Hunter Renfro, Clemson, a reach in the fifth round, minus 40 value. Quentin Bell, outside linebacker, reach. 2020, reach. The only position of value was a Meek Robinson in the fourth round, 51. The rest, Henry Ruggs was a reach. Damon Arnett was a reach. Lynn Bowden Jr. was a reach. Brian Edwards was a reach. Tanner Muse was a big, huge reach. And John Simpson was a reach. 2021, Alex Leatherwood, a huge reach. Trayvon Morrig, value, 22. Malcolm Kuntz, a reach, 71. Divine Diablo, a reach. Tyree Gillespie, a reach. Nate Hobbs, a reach. Johnny Morrissey, a reach. Now, I have to dispute the Nate Hobbs and the Malcolm Kuntz reach because those weren't reaches, bro. They might have been reaches, but they turned out damn good reaches. So in 2020, we had 1 position of value. In 2021, we had 2 positions of value out of 7 picks. 2022, we had 4 positions of value. So this is where it's, you can talk all the shit we want about Dick Daniels and, his staff, what he did for this team. But, bro, some of our best drafting is this dude, Dylan Parham, value. Zamir White, value. Cleve Farrell, reach, minus 4. Matthew Butler, value. I don't know about that. Thayer Mudford, 69, value. Britton Brown, a huge reach, 81. Jesus. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 of value and 2 reaches in 2022. 2023, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 reaches, 2 positions of value. Christopher Smith, 2, who I believe is still on the roster. That's another dude I forgot about that obviously has some value out of Georgia. Jacorian Bennett, they said, was a reach. Aiden O'Connell, they said, was a reach. Trey Tucker was a reach. Byron Young was a huge reach because we picked the wrong one. Michael Mayer was a pick of value. Tyree Wilson was a reach. Last year, we had value, reach, value, reach, value. So they call Dylan Labe a reach at number 6, minus 8. Not too big of a reach. In DJ the Mule Glaze, they called a reach at 77. A reach of minus 92. Boy, were they wrong on that shit. So since 2016, we've had on average 2 positions of value, and the rest have been considered reach by PFF. That's wild, bro. That's wild shit to me. So, man, I'm gonna get off here. I'm freezing my ass off. I don't know why it's cold as hell in the desert at night, but I appreciate y'all rocking with me this long. Like I said, tomorrow I'm gonna break out the computer, hopefully, and we'll break down some more shit. Arnie Garza, damn it, I'm gonna have to go back and fucking read these comments and get the answers to all your clues. Um, I mean, get the answer to all your questions. But yeah, as always, Raiders just win, baby. See y'all tomorrow. Appreciate y'all. Peace. Much love.